because it becomes, it can be protein, for example, and we want to make sure we're not losing food that could feed people instead of feeding climate change. So with that, I think it was absolutely critical that this declaration put this issue center stage, and we encourage all countries to include this into the NDCs. They are our investment plans for the period to come, so that we can make sure that the financing flows the level of ambition, and the CCAC is supporting over 30 countries already in this and stands ready to do more. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Otto. Next is Kaveh Sahedi. You have the floor.
Thank you so much. So I guess the key message from the Food and Agriculture Organization of the UN is that transforming agriculture and food systems is going to be critical if we are to achieve the Paris Agreement, whether it's on the side of adaptation and building resilience, or indeed on the side of mitigation. And on this Food, Agriculture and Water Day, we're so delighted that the COP29 presidency has been shining a light on this, including through the Baku Harmonia Climate Initiative for Farmers that the minister spoke to. And it really is an initiative about continuing the momentum on supporting and scaling up climate action through agriculture and food systems, and setting in place a COP-to-COP mechanism. So it's not an initiative for one COP, but one that continues this momentum from COP to COP. And that's really what the event this morning was about. It includes focusing on how to release finance. Finance is a vital enabler, and not enough climate finance is moving in the direction of solutions that only agriculture and food systems can provide, including at the farmer and community level. And of course, it is about building the momentum towards ensuring that countries fully incorporate the ambition on agriculture and climate on agriculture and food systems into their next generation of NDCs, the NDC 3.0, because only in that way will they be able to reach the ambition that is required for the Paris Agreement. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have time now for your questions. If you please could identify yourself and your media organization. The microphone is coming, and just a reminder, we have also Azerbaijani English interpretation. Let me start. The gentleman here, first row.
Hello, thank you so much. Sabir Safarov, Real TV, Azerbaijan. So my question is to the Minister Majnun Mamadov about the irrigation systems which are modernized in the Azerbaijan, and about the water management.
Thank you very much. We have almost totally transferred all our subsidy programs to support farmers who implement modern irrigation systems. Right now in Azerbaijan, out of all our irrigated lands, only 8% is where it is used the modern irrigation systems, whether they're drip irrigation or pivot irrigation, sprinklers, doesn't matter. So first of all, our aim is to increase that, and we aim to reach that in a midterm almost to more than 90%. Second, as a strategy of renewing the losses or decreasing the losses that we have in water, is create as much as possible reservoirs, transfer our transportation of water to the closed irrigation system, and definitely implement the modern irrigations in place as much as possible. And of course, count every drop of the water that we have in hand. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, the lady in the first row.
Megan Roding from Climate Home News. Minister Mamadov, you mentioned that Azerbaijan is finalizing its NDC. Can you tell us when you will be announcing your NDC, or at least your NDC targets? Is it going to be here at COP29, or will it be by the end of the year? Many people were expecting it to be here, and we haven't heard anything yet. So I'm just wondering if you can provide a little bit of clarification there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I can't name the exact date, frankly, by today, but we are really working on it. If we are able to finalize it by the end of the COP, but if Mr. Rafiv wants to follow up with the question, that's all from my part.
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. The process itself is very complex one, and that incorporates significant data collection processes, significant coordination among the agencies to put up in place a really tangible outcome. For us, the quality is more important than the time itself, than rushing in terms of timing. So therefore, yeah, it is in the final stage. We cannot predict the exact date, but the work is going on. Thank you.
The gentleman here in the aisle with a black shirt.
Farid Hassanov, BBC News Azerbaijan Service. My question is for Mr. Mammadov. When I was in the regions of Azerbaijan, some farmers, including the beekeepers, said that they were deprived from government subsidies for this year. And also, they also worried about the fuel price. When the fuel price increased in this summer, they said that there's nothing's changed in the subsidies coming from the government. I'm wondering if your ministry is planning to increase these subsidies for the next year. Or thank you so much.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to mention the main aim of the subsidy. The main aim of the subsidy is to cover some portion of the cost which are occurred by the farmers. The support for the beekeepers started a few years back, 2020, if I'm not mistaken, and stopped in 2023. With that support, the number of bee families increased more than 60 times and reached almost close to 600,000, if I'm not mistaken. So in that sense, as a government, we have reached our goal using that subsidy mechanism. Right now, we will implement the big subsidies, but mainly in Karabakh, Eastern Zengezur regions, and in Nakhchivan most probably. Thank you very much.
The gentleman in the second row, please.
Hello, I'm Vishnu Mohan from Times of India. My question is to lead negotiator. You just said that you appreciated the signal which you got from the G20 leaders. Would you please specify what kind of signals you got from them? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, we have been encouraged by, of course, the positive signals were expected from the G20 summit to give an impetus to our ongoing efforts here, since we are doing a collective effort to achieve an important outcome within the UNFCCC process. So there are two major issues that I would say we took as a positive signal. First, they pledged their support and commitment to the COP29, the successful negotiations here at COP29, paving the way for the adoption of the new collective quantified goal. The second is the leaders of G20 once again recommitted themselves to the UNFCCC process. And they have once again reiterated their support, the whole multilateralism in general. When it comes to the climate domain, they have expressed that and this is the process that can deliver, really.
The lady here in the second row, please.
Thanks. Hi, Victoria Seabrook from Sky News. Colombia is trying to forge a different path. It wants to leave its fossil fuels in the ground and find and diversify its economy so it can do so. Azerbaijan's policy seems to be to pump as much oil and gas as it can. Why won't it at least consider an alternative path? Is it open to thinking about the Fossil Fuel Non-Proliferation Treaty? Thanks.
Thank you. Of course, we cannot comment on any individual country's internal policies, but in Azerbaijan we have been clear, and that was also the messages that have been communicated throughout the COP itself. And even before that, Azerbaijan is in the path of ensuring energy transition in a way that to increase the portion of the renewable energy in the general energy mix by 2030 to reach to 30%. But the figures that are being updated shows that we can reach at that point even earlier. And Azerbaijani government is investing a lot on renewable energy. Our even COP29 initiatives, the presidency initiatives, have once again demonstrated the political willingness of Azerbaijan to first implement the global stocktake outcomes, the second also to ensure the smooth transition of energy. Thank you.
The lady here in row 3.
Hi, Çiçek Cahangirli from A News. My question is to the Minister Mammadov. How has Azerbaijan's Smart Villages initiative progressed in addressing rural development challenges, and what lessons have been learned in implementation of these projects that could guide future efforts? Thank you.
Thank you very much. The first ever Smart Village project in Azerbaijan was built in Karabakh, in eastern Zengezur, in a region called Zengilan, and the name of the village is Agale. I'll touch upon more on the agricultural side of it, because as a village itself, it's very green-oriented. Majority of the energy is coming from the hydro energy, using the water energy. But on agricultural part, we are right now investing a lot in the infrastructure to develop the parcelization of the land, to develop the roads within the farmlands, and to develop the drainage system also as well. And bring the water, pressurized water, so that farmers can install modern irrigation systems. So compared to other parts of Azerbaijan, here from scratch, from zero, and from the lessons learned from 90s and beginning of 2000s, from our land projects in other parts of Azerbaijan. There, we prepare everything from the beginning. We level the land. We invest in the infrastructure for the farmers. And the farmers will receive parcelized, ready-made plots of lands in order to start their farming operations. Thank you.
The lady here in the middle. Yeah, the microphone's coming.
Hi, I'm Rebecca from Carbon Pulse. My question is to Mr. Rafiev. I'm just wondering, how are you going to ensure that language on phasing out fossil fuels gets into the final text?
Yeah, of course, this COP29 presidency is one of the major important priorities to ensure a balanced package of outcomes, which include also the outcome related to mitigation. We understand that the implementation of the global stocktake in its entirety is an important expectation from COP29, and we have a robust plan to do it throughout this COP. Thank you.
The gentleman. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm Nohara from Japanese public television N18G. I have one question about G20 declaration to Mr. Chief Negotiator Ratiev. In the document of joint declaration of a G20 summit, there is a mention about the need to foster private capital flows for climate action for developing countries. And do you think this aspect will be important also during the COP29 negotiation, and does it bring any hint or positive effects during the negotiation or not?
Thank you so much. Of course, the one thing that we are all unanimous in our position is that the current finance on climate is not sufficient. It needs to be scaled up. And there are several views on that, whether it should be only the states, or whether it should include the business community, the private sector. The private sector has an important role in this process. Whether on the negotiated track we will get anything at the end, or whether out of process contribution from the business community side, the business sector's involvement is very important. Our high-level champion, Nigar Arpadaray, in that regard has worked a lot throughout the year. Recently we had on the 14th of November, in the first thematic day on finance, a big business and philanthropy event having more than 400 C-level representation from the business community, once again demonstrating that business sector itself also is very much interested in attending, contributing the global climate action. Thank you.
Gentleman here in the first row.
Matthew Carr from kazi.org, climate news website. There's been a lot of delay built in to this system over 30 years. And one thing that's happening is that when people are meant to put in their NDCs, they just don't do it and they delay it. Can you just talk to why that's happening? And is there a structural problem with the program? Because if people keep delaying their pledges or their NDCs, as we call them, then the incentive for others to join in falls away. And it becomes about just delaying so that you can make more money out of land, make more money out of burning fossil fuels, and just not engage with the process properly.
Thank you so much. First of all, we need to understand that all countries have different starting points. Not all countries are starting the process in the same footing with the same amount of resources, with the same amount of capacity to do this. And having the judgment of the countries performing on their NDCs, preparing or submission of their NDCs is something that needs to be carefully considered. Therefore, we need to understand whether, that is why Baku COP is very much important in our view, being an enabling COP. What we have been promoting since the beginning is that for the countries to be prepared and to design their own NDCs and be more proactive in this process, they need to make sure that the means of implementation are available for them. And the Baku COP, being an enabling COP, is expected to deliver on new collective quantified goal, which in our view is an important also factor that needs to be taken into account for many developing countries. But of course, the NDC process itself, we have two pillars in our COP29 vision. One is enhancing ambition and another one is enabling action. And under enhancing ambition pillar, the NDCs, BTRs, and NAPs are important deliverables expected from the parties. And on the NDC side, the outlined features that I have mentioned are the important factors, but also in the BTRs, biannual transparency reports, the countries need to have the relevant capacity, relevant training for data collection to prepare these reports and submit. And that was the very reason why COP29 presidency, starting from the beginning of the year, organized several global workshops, regional workshops for the parties to build their capacity, to have the necessary skills, and also at the same time, providing a Baku transparency platform, we have tried to ensure that there is also sufficient funding available for the parties to prepare and submit their BTR. So different starting points for all countries, various capacity of resources that really, I think, set the capabilities in different way.
Thank you very much for today. Chok Sagul. See you tomorrow, 1:15, same place. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Salam. Welcome to today's press conference of the COP presidency, COP29 presidency, on Food, Water and Agriculture Day. I have here the COP20 presidency lead negotiator, Yalcin Rafiev, the Azerbaijani Minister